and welcome to another video. This is going to be all of my things that I got for the second half of January. Not very much manga, but quite a few anime series to show off. So I'll just get straight into it, and I hope you guys enjoy. So first of all is something that isn't actually manga or anime. It is, in fact, a CD. It's the complete best collection of Kuroshitsuji, so many of you have probably seen me pick up things like this before, and complete best collections are where they have all of the opening and ending singles for a certain franchise collected to one CD and DVD or Blu-ray. This one is obviously for Kuroshitsuji or Black Butler. I'm not a huge fan of all of the Black Butler anime adaptations, but the music for the openings and endings are always really good in my opinion, so I'm glad to pick this particular release up. It's a thicker one, but it actually is a little bit different because whilst it has the front cover and the two discs are in the front here, in the back it made room for the can badge. So yeah, it's thicker than it probably should be, but you know, what can you do? Next is my manga, and like I said, only a couple of things here. First of all is the newest release of Horimiya. This is volume 6 by Hiro and Daisuke Hagiwara. Really solid volume. This is so far one of my favorites. We have development on both the romance side as well as like the actual plot side. It's really good. If you're a fan of Horimiya comedy as well as romance, you'll definitely enjoy this show. It is, or series I should say, it is much more comedic than romantic, but even so, like I said, the romance really does take another step in this particular volume. And unusually this character here on this right in the middle, she's not in this volume, so I was like, oh, I was surprised to see her on the cover, but not actually in the volume. And the mangaka actually does take note of that in the extras in the back, which was quite funny. Next is an older manga volume, and that is Higurashi When They Cry Atonement Arc Volume 4, which altogether is volume 18 of the series. As you can tell, this is not a new volume. It's an older one. It's been beat up a little bit. It's secondhand, but I mean, I didn't pay that much for it. I'm not really fussy about like this sort of stuff, especially when I know I'm buying secondhand. Higurashi is a very solid manga. I definitely recommend it if you are a fan of the series in general. And this is it's the final volume of the second answer arc. So yeah. I still have some gaps to fill in for my Higurashi manga collection, but with this one I'm finally able to read this particular arc, and then I can start worrying about getting some of the later omnibus releases. And finally for manga is the new release of Fruits Basket by Yen Press. Again, volume 9. These are beautiful. I say this pretty much every month. Fruits Basket is a classic shoujo for a reason. It still holds up very well. As for this particular release, it contains volume 17 and 18 of the 23 volume series. So yeah, great. Like I said, always great to reread this series. It does really hold up very well. And Natsuki Takiya, her series have really gotten a bit more, I don't know, popularity, but have become a bit more well-known within manga fandom now, with Lizelot and Witch's Forest and Twinkle Stars finally being released in English as well. But yeah, solid series, and I'm really glad we're getting a new release of it. I'm looking forward to the next 3 volumes, and then we're done for this series. Next is anime. So that was all of the manga, only 3 titles, a lot smaller than previous videos, but I wasn't expecting a huge amount this month either. But for anime, we have quite a stack here, but it's all for the same series, and that is the UK releases of the Monogatari second season. So I think MVM in the UK had a end of year sale, which priced these at very, very cheap compared to their normal selling price. So I decided to buy them, and even after shipping, it still worked out cheaper for me. And so I have Nekomonogatari White, which is the first part of this new Monogatari, or Monogatari second season. Kabuki Monogatari, which obviously focuses on Hachikuji. Otori Monogatari. And of course, these are all pretty much exact same disc as the Aniplex release, except for much cheaper. Oni Monogatari, which is my personal favorite arc of this particular season. Kishot or Shinobu is probably one of the most interesting characters in the franchise, so I always enjoy when we get more of her story. Koi Monogatari, which is technically the final arc of this season. The follow-up OVA, Hana Monogatari, which is, as you can see, focused on Kanbaru. And I believe, chronologically, this is the very last story that's been had an adaptation. But I also have Tsuki Monogatari, which is technically part of season 3, and actually it came out after Hana Monogatari, but the events in it occur before Hana Monogatari. With Monogatari, it can get quite confusing about where things sit on the timeline, but once you are actually watching it, it's not too hard to keep track of. And so it's 7 parts of the Monogatari franchise. I only need now Nekomonogatari Black, which was the OVAs for the first season, so Bakemonogatari and Nisei Monogatari. And then I'm caught up until Owari Monogatari starts coming out, and once the UK or Australia decides to release Kizu Monogatari. And of course, with Monogatari, there's always more coming, so you can never truly be finished with Monogatari until all of the novels are adapted, and we have not yet seen the novels come to an end, so it'll probably be another 30 years that we'll all be getting new Monogatari works. And Shaft will keep making anime adaptations because they make money. They sell like hotcakes. And the next anime that I got was a sale item for Madman, so that's a local anime licensor here in Australia, and they're currently having an 80% off sale. So I picked this series up. It's one that I have previously seen and wanted to get for a very long time. It just hasn't been a top priority, but for the price that it was in the sale, I had to jump on it. And that is Jormungand, the complete collection. This actually contains both season 1 and season 2, so it's all 24 episodes rather than just the first season. Jormungand, I think, wasn't necessarily very popular when it first came out because I think a lot of people expected Black Lagoon from it, whereas it's more so, it's less like a shooting, action, violence, balls to the wall, crazy series like Black Lagoon is, and more so like an introspective piece about like the futility of war and what true peace is and that sort of thing, whilst also having like these action set pieces. So yes, actually my sister owns the entirety of the Jormungand manga series. It's a little bit hard to get now. I think a couple of volumes are out of print, but it's a great series, very solid. Haven't seen the dub for this, so I can't give my opinion on that, but I'm really looking forward to re-watching this because like I said, it's very introspective. It asks a lot of big questions and doesn't necessarily give the expected answers to them. And I'm glad that I finally have been able to pick this series up. And next, and finally for the Blu-rays, is the UK release of Heroic Legend of Arslan Part 2. So this is the second half of the first season. This series is released by Universal in the UK, so it has this very fancy limited edition release. It comes with a bunch of postcards, a art book, poster, and the digipack, which has both discs on Blu-ray. I just finished the first half of Arslan earlier last week, I believe, and it's a very solid show. I think there's definitely hints of the author's previous works with it, so yeah, it's been enjoyable. I look forward to watching the second half of it, and yeah, I know that the second season has already also been licensed by Universal, and I'm sure we'll get another lovely release like this. This seems to be their typical release pattern as of now. They've only really released Arslan and Seraph of the End so far, although they do have some other licenses that they've yet to release. Yeah, it's a nice release, and this particular one I got for very, very cheap because Zavi had it discounted for about £20, and then Amazon UK price matched it. So I got it from Amazon UK, and compared to the regular £59 that this goes for, I was immensely happy to pick it up at 20. And finally, for anime is actually a DVD set, and this is for a series that I have adored for a very long time. I don't know quite why I hadn't picked it up until now, but the recent license loss in the US really spurred me on to pick it up, because it was licensed separately here in Australia by it was actually licensed a couple years before the US got it, but I never picked up the US or the Australian release, just for various reasons. I think the US release came out when I was overseas, and then I just never got around to picking it up. And then the Australian company that has released it has also sort of quietly left the anime market, similarly to how NIS America has. So that is House of Five Leaves, the complete series. This is based off, or a full adaptation of the Natsume Ono manga of the same name. This was released by Siren Visual here in Australia and NIS America in the US. DVD only for both releases, which is a shame, but it still looks pretty wonderful. This is one of those shows that sort of is surprising about how beautiful the series seems to be on maybe a smaller budget than you may expect. And it's such a shame that Studio Manglobe no longer exists, because really they were the only anime studio to take risks on shows like this. As for the series itself, it follows this band of ragtag kidnappers. The main character is sort of a... He's sort of a destitute samurai. He doesn't have anywhere he's working because he's very faint of heart. He doesn't really like confrontation, which being a samurai doesn't really work very well. So, but he's moved to Edo to sort of find work as a bodyguard, and through his struggles in Edo, he meets this group of individuals who hire him and then bring him into the group proper. And they're a group of kidnappers. They kidnap wealthy merchants' sons, and really just try to screw over the upper class because immorality, and they all have their own reasons for it. It's a very, very intriguing character drama. I highly recommend it, and I do hope that everybody gives it a chance, especially considering it's going out of print. I mean, it's already out of print. I don't know whether you can not buy it anymore. I'm pretty sure you can still get it, but I'm not entirely certain. Yeah, House of Five Leaves, fantastic series, and yeah, watch it if you haven't. This particular release by Siren came out years and years ago. I'm surprised you can still find the copies with the slipcover, but I got this one new from eBay, and I am very happy that I finally own a show that I've been meaning to get for literally years and just haven't up until now. This is it. Yeah, this is kind of what I mean with like my priority list and how things get shuffled around, and like supporting the things you actually really enjoy rather than just like buying everything or what's popular. But I'm glad to finally own and really support a series that it will never really be very popular, but is definitely a piece of art, definitely worth the watch. And yeah. And finally, for this haul, I'm not going to unbox it or anything, but it is technically an art book. It's the Free Eternal Summer Illustration Works Part 2. As you can see, it has Sasuke and Rin on the cover, and this is basically like the other illustration works from Kyoto Animation, just a bunch of promotional artwork, stuff they used on posters, on merchandise and magazines for Free Eternal Summer. Nothing more or less than that. All of them also contain a drama CD track, which in this case for these illustration works contain the drama tracks from the various character duo bracelet mooks that they had back when Free Eternal Summer had just ended. So I believe this one has, I think, let me look. Yeah, Haruka and Makoto, and then Haruka and Rin. The other one had Nagisa and Rei, and Sosuke and Rin, and Nitori and Momo. So all of them are now released. I believe, I'm not sure, I'm not certain whether or not we'll get another book for the final part of the Free franchise, which is the high-speed film. If we do, I'll probably get it. If we don't, then I wouldn't be surprised. But considering how much artwork there is for this series, it's got a lot of merchandise and it's got a lot of promotion, then I'm pretty sure that we will see one down the line sometime. Who knows? But that was everything for my haul for January, the second half of January. There's not a huge amount here, more anime than I really expected, but that was mainly thanks to all the sales that were going on, and then my impulse having to buy something before it went completely out of print. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching. This is a much shorter video than usual, and hopefully I can keep that sort of thing up. But I'll see you in the next video, guys. Bye till then.